Hello folks, welcome to our April devlog. We'll be making a shorter one compared to last month, so let's just jump right in. To start, we have a very special event from our new event manager, Ina.
Hello, my name is Ina, and I'm the event planner, and I plan to make lots of events for this community. Events like game nights or drinking nights or clubbing. Clubbing is really cool. Just more events, just to hang out with you guys, get to know each other.
In the
Okay.
future, how do you want the events to grow?
I want to grow where we can have Q&As or live streams or something like that, more getting people more involved in the game as well. We want people to get to know each other to foster a bigger community.
We would also like to thank our community for reaching 2 million visits and 120,000 favorites on VRChat. This goal goes well and beyond what any of us on the development team were expecting, and we hope to keep adding more for you in the future. So from all of us, thank you. Firstly, I'd like to talk about one of the guns we mentioned briefly in our last devlog. We've changed quite a few things in the last month with the G3 in regards to both look and sound. Last time we looked at it, it had no sound and wouldn't finish, but we collectively decided it didn't fit the feel for our other guns, so we went the direction of a olive finish, and overall we're just much happier with it. In addition to these changes, we also have added a new gun with a similar make. This is the MP5 made by H&K, who also makes the G3, and we added this to fill the role of our low recoil submachine gun. By comparison to a lot of other guns, we had this completed much faster because less time was needed to set up the proximity triggers, since we had the G3 to use as reference. As far as its sounds go, I tried to get as close and as accurate as I could with the sounds that I had both available to me at the time, as well as a lot of reference video. But by most metrics, it should function and sound like the real thing for those who have a keen eye for this particular gun. Once we had the MP5 in the game though, we realized that our Glock did not match proportionally to the size of the other guns after using reference images both side by side for their real life counterparts. To fix that, the size of the Glock was increased by 12% and should make for a more intuitive gun.
So for this month, I have been working on implementing new features for reloading, such as desktop reloads, casual reloads, and one-handed reloads. So they are all quite similar, really. Desktop reloads, really, how they work is pretty much, if you are not in VR, like you play on your desktop PC or your mobile phone, you will have these desktop reloads, and what it does, it will basically mimic how reloading works in zombie survival. You press E, the mag goes out, and then it puts a new one in. Also, you'll be able to visibly see again how the pullable will be interacted with, except you don't need to do anything. This is all done in the code. So basically you have an MP5, you shoot, the gun is empty, like you don't have any more bullets, so it will take the mag out, put the new one in, and it will operate the weapon for you, and that's about it. And then it will load a new round in. This also is the same way it works for casual reloads. So what we will do for these projects moving forward is we have an immersive mode, which you have already seen prior. You do all the weapon stuff manually. You take a mag out, put a new one in, you erect the slide and whatnot. But we also add a casual mode, which basically mimics the exact same way zombie survival does it, except it's different code. It's not really related in that way, but basically you point the gun up or down and it will reload for you the same way you've already seen. Mag goes out, puts new one in. You don't need to do anything. You just hold the weapon, and it also operates the weapon for you. Now, there's a difference between casual mode and one-hand mode reloads. So the casual mode is meant for people who have two controllers, and basically the difference is if you hold the weapon with two hands, you get the full reload speed. If you only hold it with one hand, you get a nerf. It will be divided by 2.5 times. So say your shotgun takes 2 seconds to reload, it now takes 5 seconds. That also means it will allow you to shoot 2 weapons at the same time, similar like how it's in zombie survival. And you can also reload both at the same time. But at the same time, you'll be nerfed. You have increased recoil, increased reload times. But to negate those increased nerfs, basically all you need to do, hold the weapon with 2 hands. And if you reload up or down, you'll be just fine. You get no downsides, and it'll be just like playing desktop mode. Now the difference, basically one-handed mode, you can only hold 1 weapon. This is meant for playing with 1 controller, because there are people who can only play with 1 controller. And basically what it does, you don't have any additional recoil like you're holding with 1 hand. It will always assume you hold it with 2 hands, and you also get all the reload benefits. There's no downsides, but you can only hold 1 weapon at a time. And that's basically that. So as we've mentioned in the last devlog, we switched from projectiles over to hit scan, and we already had set up a tracer effect for the projectiles. But given that projectiles and hit scan work in different ways, we couldn't really reuse that. So I ended up making another tracer system, tracer effect for hit scan weapons. And a lot of benefits that we have with hit scan also, it's very easy to synchronize those. So now you'll be able to see all the tracer effects of hit scan weapons from other people shooting also. And we'll have a little footage here so you can see how the tracers will look. Oh yeah, there. And yeah, see for yourself. I think they turned out pretty okay. They'll be a little harder to see in brighter areas, but they will be very noticeable in darker areas especially. So depending on if you are on the receiving end of getting shot at, these should be very scary looking, maybe even, but still also very cool to look at. I've also worked on adding new impact effects for anything really, in this case bullets. So in this new footage up here, you'll see us shooting at different surfaces such as wood, glass, metal, and rock, and they will all now have different effects. I think they turned out pretty cool. They should also be relatively optimized. They also have different sound effects. Yeah, there's not really much to say about that. Also, they are synchronized. If other people shoot a surface near you and it's like a wood surface, you also see like wood pieces falling out of it. I've also been working on a game manager system, which we will be using for making new games pretty much. So the idea is this manager has different methods that I can make use of and figure out like the state of the game, like which round we might be on if we had a round-based game, if a player got killed or similar. Lots of different things that I can mess around with. This is not really production ready just yet, but I'm like still experimenting, just getting started, like just kind of implemented like all the features that we need to make it work. And I'm just kind of hoping everything goes well and we can actually make something with it. So with this new game manager system, in a nutshell, what we could do, for example, is take all the players that are in the instance, and the instance might have just started, and we split them in half, and we figure out, okay, these people are in this team and these people are in this team, and that's pretty much something we can all do I can do in the game manager, and sort of make different game types pretty much, and it should hopefully speed things up a little bit. Just trying to make it a lot more modular compared to what we had with zombie survival, where it was all just stuck and crammed into one big script. And I think it should definitely help for future projects. Also, we just had our first event. You'll be able to see some footage right here, and it's been pretty fun. Definitely, if you would like to join us next time, make sure you're in our Discord and you get the events role. It will automatically ping you whenever we host another event. And yeah, maybe you get to hang out sometime. It'd be very cool, yeah?